As of recording this video on Saturday, this French clan has taken 63 defenses, another clan, Team Korea, has taken 60 defenses, and Green Bandits is on a whopping 75. On the other hand, how many defenses has my clan 3-star Supremacy had? 0, nada, zilch. Same goes for number 3 in the world, the Foons, and many other clans. Let's talk about it. So about a month ago, I posted a video in response to the Graveyard update where I highlighted some of my concerns for the state of Clan Capital. But ever since then, things have gotten worse, and this recent update, it's the first time I've actually been skeptical for the future of this game mode. Without telling us anything or putting a heads up in the patch notes, Supercell slipped in a huge change to matchmaking to where all CH10 clans frequently match clans with around 1600 upgrades. This has many implications. For starters, if you woke up Friday morning in a clan with 1600 upgrades, then suddenly you had 30 clans who have already attacked you and many more on the way. And if you are higher in upgrades, by now you have 1 or more likely 0 defenses. So now defense is a part of the game that has been completely removed for higher level clans. Suddenly, you had 30 clans who have already attacked you with many more on the way. And if you are higher in upgrades, by now you have 1 or more likely 0 defenses. So now defense is a part of the clan capital that has been completely removed for higher level clans. But for practical purposes, for clans with over 1600 upgrades, whether or not you have a couple of defensive rates or exactly 0 is completely random and will hugely impact trophy calculations. One of the factors for trophies is average gold per attack from defensive rates. You want this number to be lower because that means clans who attack you need more hits to take you down. Usually for CH10 clans, this number ranges from 2500 to 3500 gold per attack. But if you get 0 defenses, that will count as 0 gold per attack. So clans with 0 defenses are at a huge advantage in terms of trophies. For example, the number 1 clan in the world is Aleppo Warriors, and the number 6 clan in the world is the Marginals, and they have taken 1 defense each. That means those 2 clans might get kicked from their leaderboard spots by virtue of the fact that the other clans in the top 10 haven't taken any. And remember, whether you get hit or not is completely random and out of your control. So unless Supercell also secretly rewrote the trophy algorithm to fix this, clans who care about trophies now have to roll the dice every single week to see whether or not matchmaking wants to sabotage them with the defense for that week. The next thing I want to cover is the second round of Graveyard nerfs. I've only briefly touched on this until now, but combined with the matchmaking changes, it's underwhelming. For the second time, losing a couple of Larrys just does not fundamentally change how broken the spell is. The 6 Graveyard Swarm on the second attack is almost impossible to defend, and there is still no strategy in the clan capital that competes with the power of Graveyard Spam. But now that everyone is hitting rush bases with 1600 upgrades, hit rates have only gotten even crazier and higher than they were before the nerf. At this point, the only people who don't use Graveyard are those who don't know about it, haven't unlocked it yet, or simply refuse to use it because it's overpowered. As a YouTuber, I've been avoiding it because I want to be able to post interesting and thoughtful attacks, but if you choose not to use Graveyard, if you choose to really scout the base and try to break it down so you can find another viable strategy, know that you are choosing to play at a disadvantage and your hit rate will suffer because nothing you can do will be as consistent as Graveyard Spam. So the more effort you put into the clan capital right now, the worse you'll do. It's ridiculous. Like in the home village, E-Dragon Spam might be powerful, but you can still learn more technical strategies that will improve your hit rate. But why would any normal player in the clan capital bother exploring anything else besides Graveyard Spam if there's definitively nothing better? The spell really just needs a rework in my opinion, or as Supercell has been doing it, they can just do a huge reduction in Larrys to the tune of maybe even 25 at level 4. And let me reiterate, Graveyard is mainly unbalanced against rush spaces where you simply cannot defend against it, and there is no defensive counterplay. And that is just where most clans are at in terms of upgrades. But Graveyard is less effective, albeit still better than everything else, against maxed bases. Which brings me to my next topic. Maxed bases at 3000 upgrades, they're hard to 2-shot without Graveyard. Extremely hard. Only a handful of clans have reached that level, and they all have good layouts, which I think is actually the part that makes it the most challenging. But before this update, max clans were at a disadvantage for trophy rankings, which is obviously unhealthy for the game if people are encouraged to not upgrade past a certain point. For getting more gold per attack, which is important for trophy calculations, it's better to 2-shot rushed bases than 3-shot maxed ones, which is why I believe Supercell changed matchmaking to allow max clans to hit lower. I actually think I have a solution that might work better though. Increase the gold you receive from hitting higher level defenses, and that will fix a lot of the problems. Right now, taking down level 1 small buildings like the Spear Thrower gives you 100 gold, and then each additional level gives you another 10. This means that the level 5 Spear Thrower gives you 140 gold, which is only a 40 gold increase, and that is just not worth the added difficulty of hitting a level 5 defense instead of a level 1. I believe that it should be increased to maybe plus 15 or even double plus 20 for each level of those small buildings, and they can also increase the scaling for those other buildings as well. This will make it more rewarding to two-shot max bases and not as punishing when you fail to do so. But making everyone face 1600 upgrade clans with Graveyard being this overpowered just makes CH10 a Graveyard fiesta. If they really want to make everyone hit a certain upgrade range, they can have everyone with max troops facing 2000 to 2200 upgrades at least, which is a more reasonable range in my opinion, because 1600 is way too rushed even without Graveyard. But I think long-term Supercell does want maxed offense facing max defense, and they'll have to buff a lot of troops to make it challenging but still doable for two shots. Here are only my suggestions. First, nerf the rocket artillery and super dragon posts. They're so toxic and not fun to play against because they really limit your options. If you don't have an easy way to get to them, they can and will wipe out your whole army, and it is depressing when it happens. Also, the Inferno Tower could use a buff maybe a faster ramp time, because it's by far the weakest of the big defenses. Next, for offense, revert the nerf to the cannon cart and buff the HP of the Giant and the P.E.K.K.A. Right now, there is no way to punish open walls because ground smash attacks are all completely trash and extremely weak, especially against max bases. Cannon Cart returning to that old fast first attack could solve a lot of those problems, and Giant and P.E.K.K.A. just die too fast without providing worthwhile tanking, especially against higher level defenses. Lastly, a small buff to Hogs and maybe Rocket Balloons. They're the best finishers right now, besides Graveyard, but they could definitely use a small boost against those max defense, whether it's more damage or more health. There's definitely some other troops that might be worth looking at, like the Flying Fortress, but these are the main things that just come to mind to me. And there you have it. These are my thoughts on some of the problems and some of the solutions that I feel would be good for the clan capital. I used to wake up Friday mornings excited to play the clan capital, but nowadays I'm procrastinating until Sunday and then grinding for video content then. I don't know what Supercell wants to do or where it wants to take the clan capital, but I hope long term they don't completely kill any and all viability of the game mode for competitive players, which is really feeling that way these days. But let me know what you think about some of my points, because I'd be interested to know, and join our Discord down in the description below. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video, and take care.